May 19th. That was the date when my mother and adopted family were killed in a fire. And I have fought my whole life to suppress those memories, those demons. But now, May 19th is come and gone. And I have a new movie out in which I kill lots of people in unique and excruciating fashion. And tonight, I have a match in which I plan to inflict insufferable pain and punishment upon my opponent. If you want to know the truth, I've never been happier.
What's shaking, wrestling fans? As you heard from the pre-show promo, it is May 19th, and we just finished watching this evening's Monday Night Raw, broadcasting from jolly old England. Pip pip cheerio, and it is time for the Raw post-show. I'm not going to come up with creative British nicknames because I'll probably just do absolutely awful with it. But introducing everyone here, I am Mike Paden, station director here at Mega Powers Radio. Also with me this evening, first off, the lead host of Addicted to Anime and Unanimous Decision MMA, Mr. Steven Wago.
Hey.
You feel like a little bit of a trip back home, Mr. Wago, tonight?
Yeah, a little too stereotypical for me with the fucking phone booth over there, but other than that, it was good.
Also with us, the Bounce House Prince, the leader of the Drew Crew, Mr. Drew White.
Well, thank you to 2006 Kane for reminding me that today is May 19th, a very important day in history.
When he has a new movie coming out.
Where he kills people in a lot of ways, damn it.
All right. And also with us, the leader of SparkOutMoment.com and the lead host of the Smack Talk podcast, Mr. Tony Mango. What's shaking, Tony?
I am indeed Tony Mango. What's up, everybody?
And of course, I should introduce all of you listening because this is the most interactive post-Raw experience available out there. You have an opinion about tonight's show, we want to hear it, and we got lots of ways to do it. We're going to be opening up the phone lines around 11:30 where you're going to be able to call in. If you want to get yourself in line, go ahead and dial in. Area code 760-512-7247. We also have the Skype line opened up as well, and also the chat room is already rolling if you want to hop in there. Brian the Brain, Awesome Piano Man, welcome back, dude. And anyone else who wants to get yourself in there, chat along and let's get things popping. So guys, why don't we start things with us here? As I like to do, I like to go around to all of you and get your opinions about what the number one thing from tonight's show that you took away was. Tony, why don't you start us off, man?
I miss Daniel Bryan.
Already?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more to add to it than that.
No, just in general. I mean, I think that he could have done something decent during this show that could have spiced it up a little bit more. Not that it was like a terrible Raw or anything like that, but his lack of a presence was felt.
Mr. Wago, what was the number one thing you took away tonight?
The number one thing is that a lot happened on this show, but I don't remember any of it. It was just one of those things where nothing really special caught my attention tonight, even though it wasn't a bad show. I suppose the coolest thing that I noticed is just fucking how over Bad News Barrett was tonight, and it was fucking sweet.
Holy cow, he was only on stage for a few seconds, and the crowd absolutely loved him.
Shit. I loved Stephanie using him as cheap heat, too, so it was a fun night for Bad News Barrett.
And Mr. Drew White, what was the number one thing you took away tonight?
Dolph Ziggler's match with Henry remarks his career as a whole, where he's so close, but so far away at the same time.
And we got another member of the cast with us tonight, returning after a couple-week absence, Mr. Miguel Leon. How you doing?
On a bit uneventful. I mean, I've been all away from the show as of late. Just I was out last week on vacation, but I'm back. I'm back. Just got out from watching Raw, and I think the word of the day I can take away from this is uneventful.
Wow, you guys are all like pretty down on this. So that you would answer my question, I guess. The number one thing you took away is you're just going to say this show was uneventful?
Pretty much. I mean, a lot of unfinishes, a lot of just storylines kind of lingering a bit. A couple repeating storylines, but we'll get into that when we talk about the IC tournament with the IC Beat the Clock challenge. But other than that, it just I was going into it expecting a little bit more, especially with the whole Daniel Bryan thing, and I just didn't feel like I got much out of it tonight. At least that I didn't get out of other weeks prior.
I don't know if I want to say necessarily bland. I think what we got was just a very typical episode of Raw. Even more so, we got a very typical episode of Raw for when we are in the UK. Something we have to consider is that these UK shows are pre-taped. We don't see them live as you probably expect it to be. These shows are taped a few hours, not long, but a few hours before we're seeing them here in the States. Easily spoiled. They take that in mind. So you're probably not going to see anything too huge go down during these shows. But I think they were still entertaining. I think we still had a lot of fun things on here. The crowd is what either made or broke a lot of these segments. They either made them more fun or they made them more atrocious, depending on what it was. But their reactions to like the Union Jacks and Bad News Barrett, all fantastic. So I think if I would say I was going to take one thing away from this crowd, from the show, it was absolutely the crowd.
Yeah,
but,
oh.
Go ahead, Miguel.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were
please.
literally giving us the pause to kind of dovetail
I was.
off that.
I was. No, please go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, there were a couple segments where it seems like the crowd was really boisterous, especially during a lot of the longer matches that came about. But, you know, like I said, I mean, there was just a lot of either stuff we've already seen or things that just went nowhere. But I'm sure we'll get into that when we do the rundown.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So first thing I want to talk about is probably the biggest thing that is going to affect things going forward. And that is we had a Beat the Clock challenge going throughout the entire show to determine the new number one contender for the Intercontinental title currently held by Bad News Barrett. And once they said that, I was like, oh, does that mean we're not going to see anything of Bad News Barrett tonight? I was getting kind of worried, especially as the show progressed further and further on. Of course, we eventually would, but we had a series of matches. Let me see if I can remember all of these. Where we had Big E versus Ryback, we had Alberto Del Rio versus RVD, Mark Henry versus Dolph Ziggler. The winner out of all this, though, RVD pinning Alberto Del Rio, which as soon as they announced that match, I was already sort of like sighing, like, oh gosh, this is like our two least favorite wrestlers going against each other. I don't want either of them to win. Unfortunately, Rob Van Dam was the one to come out on top. I think he had beaten the previous time with 47 seconds to spare, so I think his time was around 4 minutes or something like that. Not even all that impressive. That's not even all that short of a match. After he had gotten his victory, though, I think Dolph Ziggler had timed out, so he wasn't able to beat him. RVD comes on the stage. Bad News Barrett attacks him from behind, gives him his little bad news speech, although in sort of a babyface manner because he was playing to the UK crowd. So that was great to see for Bad News Barrett. But now, go around, talk to you guys. What do you think about Rob Van Dam being our number one contender and how they played it out with this Beat the Clock Challenge tournament tonight? Miguel, why don't you start us off?
Well, first off, let me just say that in terms of the ADR versus Del Rio matchup, as soon as they announced it, I could hear Tony's collective sigh in the air. Yeah. I just heard I even messaged him that. I'm like, I could hear your sigh from here. I think he messaged me back like at this point. It was like the moment it popped up, I'm worked on the pay-per-view predictions.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't even bother watching this matchup because ADR and RVD, they just have no chemistry with me. I think I switched over to FX and watched a bit of Thor. I like that movie.
Tony?
It just like Miguel said, I mean, as soon as they announced that, I really was just sort of like, oh, now I get a chance to do pay-per-view predictions and update that and take a look at like logos that I might want to redo and everything. Didn't pay any attention to that match at all. But when it comes to the other two matches, Big E match was not too bad, pretty decent. Same thing with Ziggler and Mark Henry. I do like how they didn't have the RVD match as the last one for the Beat the Clock because it's a little bit too repetitive and boring and predictable when somebody beats the previous time, and then the next person comes, beats the previous time, and then the last person beats the previous time. I like when they throw something out there every once in a while where somebody just doesn't win it. So that was kind of decent, even though I would have rather had Dolph Ziggler win. And RVD being the challenger for Bad News Barrett, good. I'm actually, I don't know why, I'm actually kind of looking forward to the match. I think it might be pretty decent. And at the very least, Bad News Barrett should retain, so it'd be nice to see him knock out RVD.
Wago, how about you, man? I know you're one of the biggest RVD supporters here, so you're happy to see him getting a little bit of loving, getting a potential run at a mid-card title?
Well, I think Wade Barrett's definitely going to beat him, and rightfully so. I like RVD, still a big fan, but he's doing what he should be doing. He's not a main event level talent anymore, and he can, when he's not just being a slot filler for, say, an Elimination Chamber, he should be putting guys like Bad News Barrett over. So very happy with the result, and I think it's going to help out Bad News Barrett in the long run. And as far as Del Rio goes, I'm just glad he lost tonight. Hope he goes back to jobbing to Sin Cara soon.
Yeah, Del Rio has not been doing well for himself as of late. Really, neither is anyone who is in this tournament. I couldn't believe like Ryback was a contender for someone to potentially go in there. Mark Henry, where's Mark Henry been? I don't know. I would rather see like a Shield member pulled into this or something, but I guess they are a little bit busy at the moment.
Plus, they would have had to lose too.
This is true. What were you gonna say, Miguel?
I will say this though, I was intrigued by the Big E versus Ryback matchup just because those guys are just so huge. Like that could be an attraction matchup somewhere down the line. I mean, if they can rebuild Ryback and maybe build Big E up to be something bigger, I could see a feud between those two really selling money just because they're just so larger than life.
Like in a feats of strength type of match, that'd be great.
Yeah, like I almost like a Warrior versus Hercules kind of thing early on, like that.
Ooh, that's a good comparison.
Can they really get any bigger though? I mean, what's bigger than the big guy? Not Big Ben.
The big guy.
Big E. Maybe the Big Show.
I did laugh when he did that. That was
I was
the big guy.
Big Show better fucking come back. I need some points on my team.
And it's only great because he laughed at his own joke.
Right. Yeah. But he laughed in such an obnoxious way too. Like you could tell he was just kind of like, bah. That's funny.
Now I'm going to go listen to Tony's Seinfeld joke.
Mr. Drew White, what do you think about Rob Van Dam being our new #1 contender for the Intercontinental title?
All I could think of is after they announced he won the tournament, he just coming out and he just looks so stoned. He's like, "What? I just won? Yeah!" And I was just like, "Oh God, Rob Van Dam, I can't handle you right now."
Dude, what happened?
I didn't even know I wrestled earlier.
Dude, when did I wrestle?
I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, where'd that bunny go? That bunny was cool.
I'm not as much as a RVD hater as Mango and Paden, but they could have done worse with this situation. They could have given it to Del Rio. I mean, come on, it's Rob Van Dam. He's fine in a mid-card type role, so I would rather seen it gone with Dolph Ziggler, but apparently Ziggler can't roll fast enough to pin someone nowadays, so it was okay. I wish Ryback won the whole thing just because of the joke he told. The big guy.
Big guy. Well, I think we're pretty much all the consensus here that Rob Van Dam is just being set up to lose to Bad News Barrett just to help him prolong his title reign, correct?
Yeah.
No one here thinks Rob Van Dam is going to go on to win this.
He should not.
He definitely should not. All right, well, Rob Van Dam doing the right thing as he should. Is Rob Van Dam going to stick around after this, or is this going to be the end of this bit for him?
No, he'll be around for Money in the Bank. They're not going to throw that away.
They're packing the turnbuckle pads with weed so he stays.
I could see him leaving around SummerSlam. It's supposed to be like every 60 or 90 days, right? That's like his contract. He goes on these little periods and he takes a little bit of time off.
I didn't read it, but yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think Robbie never read it either.
So if he wrestled Extreme Rules and then he wrestles Payback and Money in the Bank. That's 3 pay-per-views. I mean, that's good enough.
All right, guys, let's move on to one of the other big things we had today. Stephanie McMahon came out and was addressing the current state of the World Heavyweight title. A lot of people were preparing themselves for the worst. Luckily, Stephanie McMahon did not lay that on us, at least not tonight. She said she's not stripping Daniel Bryan of the title tonight. However, she is demanding that Daniel Bryan appear at Raw next week in person and that he does the right thing. So I'm guessing whatever they're just doing here is just prolonging this as long as they can to figure out what Daniel Bryan's return table is. Hopefully it's going to be sooner than later, but I don't know. I don't want to even try to put Daniel Bryan in a position where he's expected to return any sooner than he needs to. If they want to just get an interim champion, let's just get it done now so we can get that in and move along as we need to. But go around, get your guys' thoughts about what we think is going to happen next week in this whole situation that we're in. Tony.
Well, I really, obviously, for the Fantasy League, don't want Daniel Bryan to lose the title. And it's okay if they have somebody else come in as an interim champion, as long as they don't technically strip him of it. But this actually made me feel a little bit better. It makes me think that maybe there's a chance that he is going to come back, and they really are just kind of stalling for Payback, but he'll be back after Payback. I said back so many times here. And then they can build up towards something for Money in the Bank. And this way, they don't have to address that now for like the couple of weeks that we have before this event. That one little week could make a huge difference. I mean, having Daniel Bryan show up next week and, I don't know, maybe Kane attacks him again or something like that, or maybe he comes out and he says he's not going to do that. He's not going to strip himself. He's not going to get stripped of the title, but he's going to try to defend it, and then something else happens that prevents him from actually having a match. I don't really know what they're going to do, but it's going to be really interesting if they do have to strip him of the title and they do it around Money in the Bank time, because how do you have a Money in the Bank person if they can't challenge for a title?
They're going to like follow him into the hospital bed and be like, I'm cashing in.
They cash in on a vacant championship and they just stand in the ring and they go, you win. By forfeit of the challenger not existing. The new champion is Cesaro or whatever the hell.
What do you say, Miguel?
I was thinking, if they could delay having him defend the belt until July, maybe instead of doing an actual Money in the Bank shot, they can just make the Money in the Bank matchup for the title itself.
I like that.
I mean, I don't know what you do till then. I mean, unless they can rush Money in the Bank to the June pay-per-view instead of to Payback, they can just stall until then. But if they can get it to July without having somebody actually take the belt off of him, yeah, I'd be more than happy with seeing them instead of doing a Money in the Bank to just have it be for the title. It reminds me of the '93 Rumble where they had instead of having the shot at the title for it, they just had the title itself. You can kind of do a same situation like that.
What I really hope comes into play at some point with this is the old Jack Tunney rule where you have to defend your title within 30 days. So maybe they'll be like, all right, Daniel Bryan, you're going to get 30 days. And at that point, he isn't able to defend it. Then he gets stripped of it, and then we go to plan B or whatever it is. I think that'd be cool.
I think that doesn't have as much of an effect without Jack Tunney coming out.
Well, they're doing all these things with holograms these days. I hear they're bringing back Michael Jackson. So, shit, why not? We can bring back Jack Tunney.
CGI Jack Tunney.
All right, Miguel, what do you think about this current situation we're in?
Well, first off, like I said, I mean, I'd be hilarious to have CGI Jack Tunney pop up. But in terms of this whole title stripping situation, it's so unfortunate, just because of what the guy's been through to get to the belt, having to get it off of him. But if I'm a booker and I've got a guy out, I've got my champion out for multiple months and not being able to put the title on the line even at a pay-per-view, you got to take it off of him. It only makes too much sense. I mean, I'd love to keep it on to him, but the only other way they could get away with this is if they focus all of their attention on these other feuds to the point to where they can get away without having a title matchup or a title feud there, which I guess given how poorly they've been booking the title, they can kind of do that. I mean, it really is kind of third slot under Wyatt's versus Cena and the Shield Evolution feud. But honestly, if they do strip him, I wouldn't be too adverse to it. My only issue would be if they end up doing what they did to him, like they did Dolph Ziggler, where they strip him of the title and then his star power just plummets after that. Because I think we can all agree Ziggler has not been the same since they took the belt off of him and gave it to Alberto Del Rio, which I've always thought was a mistake.
He almost won the Beat the Clock challenge tonight. What are you talking about? He was one roll away from pinning Mark Henry to beat him. Come on. What are you talking about?
He still lost, and he's been losing for the most part since that whole situation was. You know, you can't convince me that Dolph Ziggler is anywhere close to the star he was after WrestleMania last year.
He wasn't really a star last year, though.
Hey, he fought Magneto.
Anyway, you know what? I'm going to say it right now. If they do have to strip the belt off of him, if you're going to give me the choice on who to put the belt on him, I'm going to say it right now. Give the belt to Lesnar. Give it to Lesnar. I mean, it makes sense considering how much they've been pushing the guy. Have him come back at Payback or something or whenever, get the belt, and then just build up to maybe Lesnar versus Bryan somewhere down the line. I think that's a money matchup right there. It only makes too much sense given how much they've been pushing the whole Undertaker streak thing that he get the belt somehow.
You want to know who they could give the belt to? Jericho.
Shut up.
Yeah. You know what? I would have had more respect for you if you said Punk.
No, fuck Punk. Who's Punk?
All right, Drew, why don't you take over? What are your opinions about this whole thing going on with Daniel Bryan potentially being stripped, maybe not? What the heck is going on?
No, they could always just be like, hey, he's not going to wrestle at Payback. He'll defend it on Raw. And then he loses the title. It could be a lot worse. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the situation, but if I was doing this situation, I would definitely strip the title off him. Not give it to Jericho. I'd give it to Cena, because Cena is always that fallback man. Like, yo, Cena, here's the title. Do something with it. And he does something with it. And, you know, whenever Bryan comes back, it'll give us closure to the Cena-Bryan feud from last year that was never really concluded. He just won the title off Cena, and that was the end of it. They didn't bring it up again at all.
Well, it wasn't a feud. It was just a one-off.
Technically, it's a feud. Cena never got his win back, or never got his dream match.
Believe me, they have not forgotten about it. That will happen again someday.
Oh,
why not right now?
Matchup. I agree. That's a money matchup down the line as well.
Then, you know what? Just fucking keep the title on him. Why not?
Okay. Wago, I know you're one of the biggest Daniel Bryan fans here. What's going on with this whole thing?
I say stall as long as you can until you've got a better time frame on the guy. You don't need to have the championship defended at every pay-per-view. And the reality of it is, the title's just a prop now. And as long as you've got good feuds, what people are interested in, people are going to watch either way. So it's, if you can keep, if he's only going to be out for a couple months, keep the belt on him. If he's going to be out any longer, either bring in an interim champion or strip him. But I say stall as long as you can.
Absolutely. All right. Well, speaking of stall, we're not going to stall any longer. We're going to open up the phone lines to you listeners out there so you can call in, get your opinions about tonight's show. We got the chat room already rolling. I'm sorry, guys, I haven't been reading out as much. I know we got a hashtag Drew Kill Yourself by Joseph Stallman at one point. That was pretty funny. So thank you, chat room. Keep things rolling nicely. If you want to get in on the phone lines, though, please get yourselves in line by area code 760-512-7247 or by hitting the little Skype icon at the top of the page. But we're going to bring on our first caller for now. He's always been our first caller, and he's a biggest fan here. We always appreciate him on every week. He's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he's JD. What's up, JD?
Hey, guys. What's going on, Wago?
Oh, hey.
I gotta agree with Wago what he just said, though, to start out, however. I mean, he is 100% right. You've got to do something because, I mean, once again, I mean, I got to say tonight was a very shitty show from London. It really was. I mean, yeah, they had 17,000 people there. Yeah, you had only bad news bear on for a couple seconds. Yeah, you had to have Stephanie running her diarrhea, crappy mouth once again saying, oh, we're not going to be sure to defend the title because it's best for business. Gee, let's see what's best for business. Having your husband kiss your ass every chance you can, have his little goons kiss his ass too.
Yeah.
That's best for business. Gee, why don't you look at the stock market, Stephanie? Why don't you tell us what happened on Friday, you little whore? I think you lost about $350 million your company lost, and you're still wondering about that's best for business? I think the network is not what's best for business. I think right now you're in a big-time hole, and I think you better find a way to get out of it quickly, because otherwise fans are going to turn on you so quick, heads are going to spin.
Yeah.
As far as the show, like I said, I mean, there's been talk. However, I was reading an article today. Apparently, one of the people I read online says Triple H should get the championship. Gee, let's give the biggest ass kisser in the world another chance for the title. Yeah, that'll be great for business. This isn't 2000. This is 2014. Yeah. Wake up, WWE. It's time to realize you're making young stars a big name. The Seth Rollinses, the Roman Reigns of the world, the Cesaros of the world. It isn't about your old age husband. It isn't about the Taker anymore. It isn't about Shawn Michaels. It's about the future, and the future is now.
Yeah.
So who is the future then? So who is going to be the person that should be crowned with this opportunity presented with Daniel Bryan being on the sidelines?
Well, like I said, you look at the guys right now, like a Cesaro possibly. You look at maybe a Seth Rollins or a Roman Reigns, possibly. I mean, those guys, I could see them happening. A Lesnar, like you said, I mean, as much as he's in his mid to late 30s, however, could be short-term champion, at least until Daniel Bryan gets back, however. And, of course, there has been talk that apparently Lesnar might be coming back at SummerSlam or Night of the Champions. Now, the question is, what happens with the whole, like you mentioned, Jericho and CM Punk? Jericho, I know, has been in talks, though, for the last couple weeks or for the last month or so about coming back. I would love to see him come back, and I think WWE would be very grateful if he came back. With Punk, I mean, there has been talk about that too, but now it looks like that's not going to happen now because he's already engaged to AJ, and I just don't think, I thought he was going to come back maybe possibly at Payback and really sit down in the ring and do a Pillman's type shoot type pipe bomb promo. I still think you're going to see it happen maybe after his marriage. Maybe. I'm saying maybe. Now, I don't know if he'll be back there, but I do think before the end of the year, I think you're going to see a big surprise come out, and if Punk does decide to come back, it might not be until the end of the year or maybe at the Rumble in January in Philadelphia. I could see that happen if he holds out this long, because right now he's holding on right now, and it just doesn't seem like he missed the company at all, and the company doesn't miss him.
I think the company absolutely misses him at the point they're at now. If they're going to be with that Daniel Bryan, they're going to be missing him hard.
Yeah. And speaking of hard, Howard, what about, I don't know if you guys saw the whole thing or heard about the other big thing today. Total Divas now has decided to add Rosa Mendez to their cast.
How is the show on a third season already?
Because it's amazing.
Well, apparently they announced it today, Howard. I know. They're going to do the two-part finale this week, starting this week, but they start in September, and apparently Rosa Mendez is going to be the newest cast member. I don't know if you guys heard that or not today, but come on. Sure. Really? The ratings are horrible for you. I don't know why they're even keeping it on the show anymore.
Because Total Divas is the future.
Drew loves Total Divas for some reason. Of all the people you add, Rosa Mendez, you're doing this huge thing with Alicia Fox right now. Why wouldn't you want to showcase her more?
What do you mean? She's already on the show as an extra. They show her every 2 episodes when she randomly talks to Nikki Bella. What are you talking about? She's on the show.
Yeah, they've shown her on there. And as far as the other divas go, however, they haven't said it. I don't know. Do you know whatever happened? This is crazy to ask before I get into my high point, low point of the evening. Whatever happened to the one diva that was on there, JoJo? I don't know if she quit or if she's down in NXT, learning the business. What have you heard?
From what I heard, they just deemed she wasn't ready, as opposed to Eva Marie, who I guess was ready.
No, she was ready.
So they took JoJo off TV to get a little bit more seasoning until they bring her back up. She hasn't been fired or released, to my knowledge. She's just been brought off TV for the time being.
Yeah.
No, this is going to be sounding real quick before I get to my high point, low point of the night. One last thing. Do you think we're going to see Hulk Hogan and Bo Dallas make Hulk Hogan a believer Friday night, maybe? Possibly.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know. You guys got anything you want to add to that?
No.
That could happen.
It's
I
not
might
gonna
not be able
happen.
to see. I might not be able to see it. I think I work Fridays.
What?
I'll see it. I'm messing this up. I'll believe it when I see it.
I'll
Come on, Tony. That wasn't even a
Well,
Seinfeld joke.
I'll believe it when it's on SmackDown or when it's on Raw.
Yeah, we'll
When-
find out this Friday, though, guys. We'll find out this Friday. And also, you think about this today, also marked a significant day besides May 19, was the curtain call show in MSG 96.
Oh, wow, you are correct. I was there for that. I should know that.
Ah, damn it,
That,
Paden. How
that
the
was a
fuck did
great.
you forget?
I can remember watching it on tape not that long ago again and reliving that moment on YouTube. All right, quick point, high point, low point of the evening. I think Bray Wyatt definitely was the high point for me tonight. He just had the crowd eating out of his hand tonight, and they were cheering like mad the whole night, without question. The low point, once again, I would say it was a tie between Stephanie and her diarrhea caca mouth, which we have to hear the same old bullshit come out of her mouth every week, along with Triple H and his little bitch boy goons. But the low point, other low point, the whole Fandango Layla Summer Rae thing. I mean, Jesus, talk about falling from grace. My God.
I like Stephanie.
To be fair, though, JD, all you have to do is just mute it whenever Stephanie comes out, because to be quite honest, I can see her bouncing around to Daniel Bryan's theme all day.
I like Stephanie.
Yeah,
Shut up,
well, obviously, Stephanie has people kissing her ass like her husband and his goons.
And
That's
me.
what she's known for. Yeah, and you. All right, guys. Just want to get my point across to all of you guys. I hope you guys have a good week.
Hey, hang
Good
on,
talking to you
JD,
guys, as
JD,
always.
JD.
I'm
I
still
got-
here.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Have you ever noticed you say however a lot?
I always do.
Okay, I'm just
It's
no.
it's better than saying what's best for business, you know.
Touche. All right, JD, thanks for the call as always, bro. Have a good night.
See you guys next Monday.
All right, another excellent call from JD. Everyone out there, we want to hear your opinions about tonight's Raw and whatever else is going on in the wrestling business as well. Get yourselves in line. Area code 760-512-7247 is the number to get yourselves in the line, as well as press the little Skype icon at the top if you don't like using a phone, or if you're part of the future generation where we don't have phones. Ooh. And of course, we have the chat room rolling nicely as well. Awesome Piano Man back in business. Brian the Brains in there. Joseph Stallman. The Dark Main Event, a new person. I don't think I've seen you there before. Welcome to the chat room. And Mr. Stephen Wago holding things down as a representative for us here on the panel. Guys, let's just head to the top of the show and start running things down. We started off with the Wyatt family inside the ring. I didn't even write down much of what they said. It was just a typical Wyatt thing from what I could tell. I got entranced for a second until John Cena came out, attacked Bray from behind. I guess this was supposed to be a representation of John Cena playing mind games, but I'm not buying it. Whatever. Tony?
I thought this was a great promo. Actually, one of my favorite promos this entire year. And I kind of agree, though. I don't really know 100% what he had said. He was talking about his teacher, and a lot of it translated to, hey, you know what, though? Fuck you, teacher. But I did like it a lot. I thought that was really good. The ending of it wasn't good, though, because that Cena thing, like you said, if that's supposed to be him playing mind games, it's really, really lame. But Bray Wyatt is just killing it on the mic lately. And the fact that he had the crowd supporting him in the right spots that they were supposed to. Well, I mean, technically they're not really supposed to, but
He had the whole crowd.
Yeah, that was great. I thought that was fantastic. It was just a really good opening for Raw.
Wago?
I'm gonna be negative here. I can't fucking stand Bray Wyatt anymore.
Oh!
Fuck me. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate that he's fantastic on the microphone, but it's the same shit every week. Fucking, I'm sick of that goddamn song. I'm supporting Cena just so you can shut the fuck up and stop singing. Jesus Christ, it gets old.
Would it be okay if he sung a different song?
Yeah, seriously. It's the fact that every time I start Raw, he's singing it.
You know,
every time I end Raw, he's singing it.
Should he have not come out singing London Bridges tonight, maybe?
I'm fucking open to anything, as long as it's not goddamn he's got the whole world in his hands, because the only thing that's worse is fucking Tony's outro of it.
What if he starts singing RVD's TNA theme?
I'd pay to hear that. It's the only thing from TNA I'd pay for, too.
Miguel.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I missed the first segment. I was ordering Chinese food online, so I was nowhere near my TV.
Was it
But
good?
I had it on, and I was listening to it, and honestly, it just sounded like the same typical Bray Wyatt promo. I mean, if you like the Bray Wyatt promo, more power to you. I'm gonna kind of agree with Wago. I don't hate Bray Wyatt, but it is getting to the point where all of his promos are kind of bleeding into each other. You know, if you've heard one rambling Bray Wyatt promo, you've heard them all. You know, there's not much variety in what he's saying yet. I mean, maybe there could be, or maybe this is just what we're going to have to expect. But I really can't say much about it other than it's the same thing we've heard almost every week.
That's probably why I have no notes about this. Nothing about it stuck out to me at all. This is all becoming a very clear picture. Drew, close us out.
I'm really hating Bray Wyatt nowadays. I don't like Bray Wyatt anymore. It's the same thing each week. We criticize John Cena for saying the same thing in every promo, but we're not criticizing Bray Wyatt for literally saying the same thing each week, just a little differently. It's, to me, the song is stupid. He should, and you know, a good song he could start singing is "This Little Light of Mine." You know, that'd be a decent song.
Well, to be fair, if I want to throw it back a little bit, I remember watching earlier bits when Bray Wyatt was first coming up, and he did used to sing another song. I think he sang like "Time Is on My Side," which was actually a play off of. I don't remember what the movie is. I know it was starring Denzel Washington, but he was like chasing a serial killer who that was his big gimmick is he would sing that song, and I know that that's where they got the inspiration from that from. But I mean, if they broke that song out, that'd be kind of cool, I guess.
Fallen was the name of the movie.
Yes, that was it.
You remember when Bray Wyatt was the worst thing ever, and we all hated on him when he first debuted?
Yeah, I was about
he was
to
awful.
say that. We fucking hated him, then we loved him, and now it looks like it's shifting back to hating him again.
Yeah, to me, it's like that. He is barely above what he was when he first debuted. Okay, and to me, if Bray Wyatt remains this Bray Wyatt and I just can't stand him, then I will not pay attention during his segments because it's getting to the point where it's just like, fuck you, Bray Wyatt. That's what it is.
Oh. I'm going to pull something out of the chat room here. Joseph Stallman saying, you got to look at Wyatt's promo as more like a Game of Thrones speech than a WWE promo. So
you mean floppy wiener?
Yeah, I was going to say, this needs more floppy wiener and rape and, killing people with swords.
Oh, big was PG era.
Yeah, you're going to have to fill in the blanks on this one because I don't watch the show.
You know, the one thing I really don't like about Bray Wyatt now is just his character. It's just something that I just can't get behind anymore. It's stupid. The same fucking thing. Bray of Thrones.
Bray of Thrones. Nice.
I don't know. I just fuck Bray Wyatt. I like Luke Harper now. I'm cool with Luke.
Luke Harper, as I said from the very beginning, is going to be the standout star of this group, even bigger than Bray Wyatt. And now everyone's finally starting to realize.
I think Bray just needs to mention Red Lobster to win Drew over.
You know what? If he did, he would win me over. The one thing that Luke did that pissed me off tonight was at the end of the night when he was just like 1, 2, counting for no fucking reason at all.
No.
What do you mean? It's a last man standing match.
Whoa. There was a reason. What was it?
It's because they're having a last man standing match.
Yeah,
Drew. Yeah. I forgot about that because apparently Extreme Rules is payback now. I don't fucking care about this. Remember last year when Ryback and Cena had a last man standing match? No, because it fucking sucked. This is going to suck too, so I don't care. Fuck this feud. Let me know when it's over.
Didn't they have a best 2 out of 3 falls matchup and one of them was a last man standing?
No, they had a 3 stages of hell.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's a 2 out of 3 falls, Drew. God,
no.
I can be such a hater.
I still like Bray Wyatt.
I'm still positive on Bray Wyatt, but I'm getting weaker on him. So
he needs to go more gimmicky. Like I like when he goes really gimmicky, like the stuff with the kids with the sheep masks and stuff like that. That's what he needs to do. He really needs to just go all out with his character. When he's just him talking on a stage, it's boring.
Maybe he'll go to the point where it's so gimmicky that people are like, whoa, he crossed the fucking line.
Exactly.
And then they get rid of him, and then we don't have to deal with him anymore.
Maybe we should just have a big animal feud, and we could have El Torito versus the sheep mask person and the rabbit. Yeah.
Can we throw in Jack Swagger's Eagle in there just for good measure?
And a hamburger with sesame seed buns. Gotta get that checked out later this week by Captain America girl.
I think what could save Bray at this point is having Zeb's mustache.
No, that is a pretty fine mustache.
This is getting absolutely ridiculous. Let's move on. We had Paul Heyman and Antonio Cesaro, or just Cesaro, in the ring. Cesaro got a new jacket, looks 100 times better on him than that sparkly, fabulous thing that he was wearing before. Unfortunately, still has the same awful, awful theme music. He ended up having a pretty decent length match with Sheamus, and actually was a pretty good match overall, I would say. It went across a couple commercial breaks. Cesaro getting the surprise win after a distraction by Paul Heyman, allowing him to get the German suplex, or I guess it would just be a suplex in his case, and getting the victory. The 1-2-3 on Sheamus. Sheamus going for a handshake after the match, but Cesaro pulling like the 80s Back to the Future bully, where he just like pulls his hand away and like slicks his head back.
Oh, you got me.
Oh,
yeah. No.
So I don't know the last time I saw someone do that, but I'm gonna bring that back now. That was great.
Ryback's gonna do that.
Ooh, the big guy, gotcha.
That would instantly make Ryback more entertaining than if he kept doing that.
Yeah, wasn't he bullying people for a while? But if you moved on to that type of bullying, I'd still be up for it.
Like he started using like a hand buzzer on people and stuff.
That fucking brings out the stick of gum shit with the snap trap.
Start sticking "kick me" signs on everybody's back.
So wait, is it so he needs the clown?
He gets a Chinese finger trap and he ends up making Curtis Axel get stuck in there. He's like, ooh, tag team partners with the big guy.
So, yeah, match between Sheamus and Cesaro. Wago, what'd you think about the matchup?
The crowd hurt this match because they didn't give a fuck about it for the first half. And I don't know if that's the crowd's fault or if that was just the guys in the ring not giving them enough to cheer about. But eventually they got him into it around the time when Cesaro hit that awesome uppercut on Sheamus. So it was a good match. Shame that the crowd weren't a little more into it. As far as I know, it looks like they're planning for Sheamus to turn heel at one point, or at least that's the rumors. And now I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, if he lost to a babyface, it would have made more sense. So I'm not sure the direction they're going with him right now. But I wouldn't mind a feud with him and Cesaro. I mean, they can work pretty well together.
I like all these Biff Tannen jokes going on in the chat room here. We got like Biff Cesaro and Rye Biff. That's great.
I was gonna make like a tree and get out of here reference, but I didn't know where to fit it in.
Oh, it's make like a tree and what you got?
Miguel, why don't you take over? What do you think about this matchup?
I liked it. I'm not a big fan of Sheamus as a babyface, but the guy can put on some really entertaining matches when you give him a good partner. And Cesaro, I mean, we've seen him just blow people out of the water in terms of his match ability. So these guys really put on a really great showing, and I'm willing to bet that the crowd wasn't into it because of the Paul Heyman stuff beforehand. It's very hit or miss when it comes to the Paul Heyman stuff. Either he gets nuclear heat or he kind of just makes the rest of the crowd numb.
He egged them on, too.
Yeah.
He egged them on hard.
I think it was just a matter of just people were just exhausted because of him. But they livened up towards the end, and I gotta say, if I'm gonna spoil something, I'm gonna say this is my match of the night. I really enjoyed these guys, and I do want to see a feud go further on. And honestly, Wago, I don't mind them feuding because I think there is potential for a double turn. I think the fans are really behind Antonio Cesaro, and I think if you give them enough to work with, I think both of these guys can really turn the other. In fact, I wouldn't mind seeing Paul Heyman aligning with Sheamus. It kind of looked like it here and there, or maybe I was just seeing.
They can't turn Cesaro face, because as soon as that music plays, people are like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, they got to give him new music. I do like a good double turn, though. I do like that idea.
I would like to point out one thing which I forgot. Thank God Cesaro got rid of the sparkly jacket. It just didn't work for him.
I liked it.
Okay.
God damn it.
Drew, what'd you think about this matchup?
I hated this match. No, the only reason why I hate it is that, Cesaro surprised Sheamus with an uppercut. Miguel, shut up. Anyways, Sheamus can't get pinned by the uppercut, but he could get pinned after being distracted and got hit by a shitty suplex, and then he got pinned off that. They could have just ended the match when he got fucking uppercut. That would have surprised me more than a shitty suplex. I don't understand how he lost from that. It made no fucking sense to me. Besides for that, the match was okay. But that just ruined the fucking match right there. The ending just sucked.
It's a German suplex. It's a pretty impressive move.
It looks like
land on the back of your head and it knocks you out.
It looked, oh my god! Except guess what? It's fake, and it didn't knock him out. It just looked terrible the way it came off. It didn't look good to me. I just didn't think that would surprise me as much as a random uppercut when I'm flying off the top ropes. I'm just saying that would make more sense than the stupid suplex.
Mom's a stupid suplex.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Who have I missed in this match? Tony?
Yep. All right, I got 3 points to make here.
Okay.
One, I thought the match was pretty decent. I didn't get to see whether or not I saw the new jacket from Cesaro, so that's something I can't really comment on. When Wago was talking about the crowd not being into it, I could hear one person in the crowd getting really into it, though, and this stood out. I always kind of find it funny when you can hear one person shout something, and it's not like, they're trying to get a chant started or whatever, that they're just really loud for whatever that one thing is that they chant. And there was a woman that literally just was just like, "Get up, Sheamus!" and didn't follow it up with anything else. Just one time, "Get up, Sheamus!"
Okay. Thanks for that point.
As far as where they're going to go with this, I don't know. I hope that we don't see a title match between these two with Sheamus coming out on top. But I'm really starting to get a little bit nervous here that Sheamus isn't going to turn heel. And instead, they're going to try to build up to Rusev taking the title from him now that they're really hitting hard with this anti-American stuff. Because it kind of seems like it's the easy way to go to make Rusev this tough guy who could beat somebody like Sheamus, and it wouldn't look like he got his ass kicked by Diego or something like that. He can beat him, and it can be all about the anti-United States person holding the United States Championship, which we've seen, a bunch of times before. But I really, really do not want to see that happen. So anything that can get Sheamus out there as a heel is going to benefit me in that way, because it means that there's less of a chance for that to happen and more of a chance for what I want to happen, which is the unification of the IC and US titles with a babyface Bad News Barrett.
So that's a lot of people turning to make that happen.
I think that they could do it. Especially around like SummerSlam time. A little bit more time to turn people around. I think that they could pull it off.
So what's Cesaro's future going to be then?
I think Cesaro is winning Money in the Bank. I think you're going to see him win Money in the Bank, either feud with Lesnar at SummerSlam or WrestleMania, and then post WrestleMania cash in. Unless, of course, this whole thing with Daniel Bryan's title reign is all, thrown into all the hell. And then God knows what.
All right, guys, well, let's move on. I just want to make a quick note about this, how we get introduced to a German announce table. And was I the only one who got like this really ominous feeling for this German announce table?
Oh, I made the comment in one of the wrestling Facebook things. I'm like, that table's not seeing to the end of the show.
I thought
I
it
was actually
Spanish
disappointed.
table.
That's probably why I hated the show, because it let me down.
Yeah, the table let us down.
I'm surprised JBL wasn't saluting it.
We got our first beat the clock match between Big E and Ryback. We already kind of touched on this. Is there anything you guys want to add to that match, though?
The big guy.
The big guy! We have this really awkward segment where R-Truth comes out with the Funkadactyls, which is already awkward enough in itself. I hope that's not a pairing they decide to continue going forward, because it absolutely did not work at all. I mean, I understand you're probably having a hard time finding what to do with the Funkadactyls. They definitely want to keep them around, but what the hell do you do with them? Xavier Woods is a bust. R-Truth, I guess, is somewhat reliable, but whatever. Fandango comes out with Layla, who I think they are looking better and better with each other every single week. However, before anything even happens here, they're all interrupted by Summer Rae, who comes down, kisses Fandango, makes a big scene, gets into a cat fight with Layla, and that's that. Summer Rae's looking like she's going to be a focus going forward. don't know what her wrestling skills are. I don't know if they're planning on making her a big contender for Paige or what the deal is. I really don't even care. I just want Fandango to keep going with Layla. I don't give a shit about Summer Rae. I don't know. Get your guys' thoughts on this. Wago?
Didn't watch. Don't care.
Okay. Tony?
What a stupid ass segment from top to bottom. I mean, you can't have the Funkadactyls who are revolved around the idea of dancing come out to somebody's song that they don't know how to dance to. Now, I'm not the person to tell them how to fucking do that. I'm a terrible dancer, but at the same time, they looked like they were thrown out there with no preparation ahead of time. I mean, they even tried to do that little thing on the ropes where they put their asses together to the beat of Somebody Call My Mama, and it was just like, this is totally not working, girls. So you gotta go for something else. But the stupidest thing about this was I mean, if I'm remembering this correctly, Justin Roberts doesn't announce R-Truth. And when Fandango comes to the ring, it's like, okay, coming to the ring is Fandango. And leaving is everybody. Was this supposed to be a match? If it was supposed to be a match, then why did the fight between Layla and Summer Rae cause 4 other people to leave? This is just so stupid. I hated this segment. It accomplished absolutely nothing, and it made everybody just look ridiculous.
Miguel?
I don't think I could add any more to that. That's exactly the feeling I had. In fact, I texted you how angry I was at that non-segment, and I think Tony pretty much summed up everything why I hated that whole segment.
Yep. Yeah, I think Tony did. In fact, Drew, you got anything you want to add? All right, I guess not. So let's move on to the next. I have 2 little quick things I want to go into. We had 2 BOMOs tonight, actually.
Such a fucking terrible name.
Bo Dallas is going to be making his debut this Friday. I keep wanting to say Thursday. I'm still stuck on that. This Friday on SmackDown. Finally, I think it's a good idea to debut him on SmackDown. You know, let him start on the bottom and let him work his way up. What do you guys think they're going to do with his debut, though? I actually had this bad feeling he's going to lose. And I think he's going to lose his first few matches, which sucks. I have him on my fantasy team, and I want him to win, and most people win when they first come in, but I can see them just doing something like that where he starts off on a losing streak. But, Tony, what do you think?
You know, I didn't really think about that, but I think that actually might be beneficial to him. Everybody comes in and wins all their matches. Rusev squashes every black guy on the roster. Adam Rose makes Jack Swagger look like an idiot every week. So why not have Bo Dallas come in and lose a little bit instead? Something a little bit different. And he's got a character where he's an ass that everybody's going to make fun of and stuff. So having him come out, look like an idiot, and then lose might actually get a better reaction than if he's supposed to be taken seriously as somebody who can beat people like Yoshitatsu and Justin Gabriel that nobody gives a shit about anyway.
Miguel, how would you start off Bo Dallas?
I don't know, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it's weird. The Bo Dallas character on NXT really came out of nowhere. It was a slow build. Mm-hmm. You know, he started off as the babyface, and then over time, you know, after getting, you know, the wrong kind of heat, started to embrace that and became the Bo Dallas we all know and love. So I don't know what they can do. Maybe they can try to mimic that and just have him come in as just a regular white meat babyface. But it seems like they're already coming in with him being the pompous, almost like a heel version of the DDP character. You know, the very enlightened, very motivational type of guy. It's going to be bizarre, and I don't know what angle they're going to take with this. If they're going to come in with him being a heel or with him being a face, if they're going to let the fans dictate it. It's just, I'm excited for it because I've seen the guy's work, and I do think that he has potential, but I just don't know what they're going to do, let alone if they're going to have him come in, win, or lose.
Drew, how would you debut Bo Dallas?
Have him win.
Just a simple, typical debut. Just have him come in, beat a bunch of nobodies.
Nah, he has to beat the Hispanics.
All right.
Well, Rusev already beats the black people. Who is he going to beat?
Wago, take us over, please.
Fucking true. Anyway, as far as Bo Dallas goes, I mean, shit, when he first debuted on the main roster, winning didn't work for him, so maybe losing will be the right path. He's a unique situation. People have, complained about Adam Rose's debut and how it's lackluster, but I argue, what else do you do with him? And it's a similar situation to Bo Dallas, where I'm like, I don't know what to do with this guy. The whole point of development is you keep him down there until you know what you're going to do. So if they've got a plan for him, I'm interested in seeing it. But outside of having annoying promos and matches with the lower card guys, I don't see what they're going to do with him.
Yeah, look forward to seeing what they have with Bo Dallas. We'll talk more about him next week when we finally see what happens on SmackDown this week. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick, JD mentioned it very briefly on the call, but we got the confirmation Season 3 of Total Divas is happening. Rosa Mendez being added to the cast. Hard to believe this show already going into Season 3. I feel like it was just very recently that the show was even being announced. Who's watching this?
No, I'm not.
I am.
I haven't watched in God knows how long.
It's not wrestling fans. I guarantee you that. I think that's probably why they hold on to it, because this is the one project that they've done in years that they've actually been able to hit the non-wrestling fan, which is, the fan base that they want to go after, which is why I think this show is going to probably not only is successful, but it's going to keep being successful.
I tell you who's probably watching it? Mean Gene.
Oh.
Divas.
Wait, is there someone? Yeah, I was gonna say, is there anyone named Ashley on the show?
What a creepy perv.
Oh my goodness. Well, we had the return of the Union Jacks. Yes, 3-man band donning the Union Jack flag all over their clothes, getting a huge babyface reaction to the UK crowd. Lots of fun until they are interrupted by Lana, who manages to get even more heat in the UK than she does in America by the mention of Vladimir Putin, knocking the UK down a notch. Great speech by her. She introduces Rusev, who comes out and has another short mash match with Heath Slater, getting the victory via submission, and the warpath by Rusev continues. I don't think we saw anything continuing between him and Big E, so I don't know if that was just one and done or if that's going to follow up later on, but nothing on that this week. So get your guys' thoughts about our work with Rusev and the Union Jacks, Mr. Wago.
Well, Rusev, typical squash match for him. He did his little knee to feet jump, which is almost as good as mine, but not quite. So, yeah, I was disappointed Heath Slater lost, because I love when they do the whole Union Jacks gimmick. I actually mock out a little, so it was many sads for me, but oh well.
Drew?
Heath Slater had a nice outfit on.
Got a fancy tag.
It's a fancy outfit he got on right there. All right.
Miguel?
First off, let me just say I was stunned to see Rusev go after a non-white performer. A white performer on there, a non-black, I meant to say. I was actually pretty shocked. I mean, I know last week we had Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but that doesn't count because he's a non-performer.
Well, he did go after Jinder Mahal.
We do have to keep in mind they are in the UK, so maybe it was just a one-time thing. Maybe when he's in America, he's only allowed to go after black.
You know what it is? They were in the UK, so he went after the Irishman, which is kind of like the black people of England.
But in terms of the actual segment, I mean, I do kind of mark out when the Union Jacks come out. I thought that was a clever gimmick when they were in the UK last time. It is what it is. Other than that, Rusev come in, Rusev smash, lather, rinse, repeat. I will say this: if there's one thing I could say about the segment that did kind of irritate me, anytime they would have like a back shot of Lana on the ring apron, they would always have that little Twitter feed go across the screen, and it just covered her up completely. And I was like, come on, man, you know why we're watching this segment? You can't be doing that.
Tony?
This sucked. I'm so bored with Rusev. I don't like what they're doing with him at all. I don't care that he beats up people that don't win matches. I don't care that Lana goes out there and stalls for 30 seconds with that weird entrance music where she walks from one side of the ring and then the other and then decides that she needs to twirl or whatever. I think it's stupid.
But Mango, he's a potato.
Well, the only positive about this whole segment is that I can make another terrible joke and say that he was totally putting them in their place.
That all you got?
Yeah, that's it. That's all they deserve.
Tell us Seinfeld joke again.
Oh gosh, we had Del Rio versus RVD, another beat the clock match. Nothing more to add to that. Fuck both of them. I'm really upset.
Best match of the night.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. We had a matchup with Seth Rollins versus Batista. This was an absolute mess. The whole thing they were advertising throughout the night was that the Shield and Evolution members were not going to be allowed at ringside. Only official appointed members, or whatever their wording was. You knew that whatever it was, that the Shield and Evolution were definitely going to be at ringside for this matchup. Nothing actually happened, as far as I could tell, inside the ring between Seth Rollins and Batista. I mean, I'm sure some stuff did, but I don't remember any of it. I remember Dean Ambrose doing this really awesome charge, running over the announcers' tables at Randy Orton outside the ring at one point, and just a bunch of other chaos. This ended in a disqualification. I want to say this was overbooked, but the crowd was eating it up, and it seemed like a fun time. So, hey, whatever. If this was a pay-per-view, I'd probably be more annoyed, but I guess because it was a Raw, it's okay to be a little bit of a car wreck. Get your guys' thoughts on it, Wago?
I really liked this, and I thought it was the best match of the night. Seth Rollins and Batista had a little more chemistry than I thought, and Batista sells like striking moves so well. He does like this whole "I just got the piss knocked out of me" stance, and it looks really fun. So, I'm enjoying Batista's body of work since his comeback for the most part, and he's getting major heat. So, it was a fun match, a little overbooked, but hey, if you've got a loud enough crowd, it works perfectly. So, I'm all for it.
Miguel?
I was not into this matchup at all. I think what bugs me is that I've come to the conclusion. I've come to not so much conclusion, but I've come to the expectation that anytime there's a Shield versus Evolution matchup on Raw, it's usually going to go to a no contest because we've had so many of those these last few weeks. So I was just sitting there just waiting for it to break down, and it did. And it is what it is. But like I said, when I talked about a lot of themes repeating for this night, this is one of them. It just seems like we've seen this segment so many times before, and I was not into it at all. I mean, I did like the little twist with them having H and Orton come out as the officials in the matchup, but other than that, it was just a typical Shield Evolution non-match.
Drew?
When was the last time Batista won a match?
The Royal Rumble, maybe?
Damn it. That was a long time ago. Yeah. I don't remember much about this match besides for everyone interfering by the end of it. So, yeah, it was a thing.
It was a hodgepodge.
It was a hodgepodge.
People wonder why he's leaving.
Tony?
A buddy of mine that people might recognize from the early days of Smack Talk, Chris Urban, sent me a text message that said, "LOL, timekeeper." So that must have gotten over with some of the people out there, that whole, oh, they're the timekeeper, oh, you're the special guest referee, whatever, that kind of crap. Then, of course, said he followed it up by asking me how many gallons of steroids Triple H takes lately. But one thing that was pretty interesting, kudos to Dean Ambrose for showing up Jerry Lawler on commentary. Lawler doesn't really say that much anymore, and Ambrose was doing color commentary like it was his fucking job or something. He's sitting there going, oh, when Seth Rollins does high risk, it's high risk, and like a missile he shoots out, and like Lawler's just kind of like sitting there like, yeah, good beat, Evolution.
Remember that time that I said Polaris? Pretty good,
I thought it was a kind of fun segment. It could have been better. It could have been worse. Like you said, if this was a pay-per-view, it would have been severely disappointing. But for a Raw thing, and especially for a Raw that's pre-recorded, and they usually don't put a whole lot of effort into a lot of those things, I thought it was serviceable. Not too bad.
All right, folks, we're going to be... Oh, Miguel, you got something you want to say? Go ahead.
I got one thing to say. Out of all the segments this night, I was expecting somebody to go through that table during this segment the most. Like I was looking at it, I'm like, all right, they got the German announce table out there. You've got the Shield versus Evolution. Somebody's going through that table, and I just think it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting a triple power bomb going through that table or whatever they wanted to do should have been there. Would have been perfect.
If it was Spanish announcers, they would have.
If Triple H instead of like took a move where his nose would have hit the table first instead of his back, it would have broke.
Okay.
Cool.
Big nose joke.
Yeah, indeed. Did I miss anyone on this match? You all got our 2 cents in? Great. Fantastic. All right. Well, we had another Divas match between our champion, Paige, and Alicia Fox. And shockingly, Alicia Fox getting the upset pin over Paige while in her home country. I believe this is Paige's first loss on TV. I didn't even see how it happened, how she got the pin on her. Was it with some actual finishing move? Was this completely clean? What the hell happened? Somebody?
I don't think anyone has.
Okay.
I don't know.
I didn't see it either. She just kind of won out of nowhere when I wasn't paying attention. And
Well, even the announcers are like, "Oh, she won."
What? She won? What? Okay.
So-
And then Alicia Fox, I guess her new gimmick is that after she wins or loses matches, she goes and she steals hats and then pours drinks on herself.
I like it.
I'm okay with that latter bit.
Hey, fucking, if she's doing something different to set herself apart from the other divas, I'm all for it, because no diva's had a fucking gimmick fin forever.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. Well, I mean, I guess she's doing the crazy chick gimmick, which is what AJ Lee did, but I guess it's a different kind of crazy chick.
Hey, it's better than a farting gimmick.
It's better than Emma's dancing. That's another thing, too.
Oh, thank goodness. Who wasn't even on the show tonight? Thank goodness. I think that one's dying a death.
That's unfortunate.
Hopefully the character and not the woman.
No, I think Emma will have another run, but I think that this pairing of her and Santino has run its course.
This match died of death, Jesus.
Well, I'll go around and get your guys' thoughts about this. Wago, any additional thoughts about Alicia Fox and Paige?
WWE seems to get a kick out of like fucking people all over in their hometown. Maybe this is going to be the new thing for Paige, like how every time there was in JR's hometown, they're like, yeah, let's fuck with JR. So, I don't know, but I don't know why they get a kick out of doing that.
Drew?
This was the greatest thing I saw all night. This was
Sounds
fantastic.
good.
It was. I swear to God, I don't know why. I got a kick out of it. It was funny.
Shut up, Drew.
Hey, you shut up.
Miguel?
I will say a couple nice things. And I don't understand why WWE keeps doing this, but it seems like they're very uneven with how they want to portray Paige. Sometimes she'll play the underdog that gets beaten up and then pulls out the sneak win, and then sometimes they'll actually give her some aggression and give her a good back and forth matchup to work with. This was one of those back and forth situations. I thought the interplay between them was actually pretty solid, even though it's just hard for me to take Alicia Fox seriously just because she's meant nothing for so long. But it seems like they're doing something with her. They're giving her a bit of a mean streak. I just wish they would be a little bit more consistent with the way they're showing Paige, because I want to like Paige. I really do. But I think she works better as a dominant, maybe tweener, not so much the underdog babyface, but just a babyface with a mean streak of sorts. But they're just so flip-floppy when it comes to how they want to portray her, and it's just hard for me to really get 100% behind her.
Tony?
Insert joke about getting behind her. I think the reason why they had Alicia Fox win here is because they needed to give somebody a match for the Divas Championship, and their go-to move is beat the champion. So not only did they have her beat Paige, but they have her beat her in England, and that way it maybe gets some more heat on Alicia Fox that way. That's why a lot of times they have people lose in their hometowns, because they're really hoping to get some kind of a boo. And they know that the hometown crowd is going to be pissed about that because they want to see their hometown people win. I like what they're doing with Alicia Fox. I'm not sure it's going to last that long, and maybe it even shouldn't. But I've always kind of liked Alicia, and I think that she doesn't get as much credit as she deserves. She shouldn't be some 20-time Divas champion or anything like that, but I think she, from what I've seen from backstage things or whatever like that, she seems like a real sweetheart. I think she's gotten pretty good in the ring compared to a lot of other people. I think that she's hot, and I think that this is kind of entertaining. So why not give her the match with Paige? And she'll lose anyway. It'll be the same situation as RVD winning to beat the clock thing. It's just something to justify getting a title shot, and they're going to come up short. So the match itself, not that great, but the segment did its job.
I'll tell you what's awesome is how they actually have some type of focus going on multiple divas at once. I mean, we have our champion Paige. We have the upcoming development of Alicia Fox here. We have Layla with a little bit going on in the back burner. Summer Rae's now starting to get attention. If they didn't completely give up on Emma, she still has some little bit of steam going for her. Hey, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
That's cool.
It's the best the Divas division has looked in years, I would say.
Yeah. We could be having just Candice Michelle and a couple of other people like that running around.
I wouldn't complain.
We'd have more Rosa Mendez.
We're in a time where we don't have to look at Melina's fucking face, so hey, I'm all for that.
Hey, I liked Melina.
Yeah, you
Not
would.
Her face, we had our final beat the clock matchup between Mark Henry and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler pushing it to the limit, however, is not able to get the victory in time. He gets Mark Henry down, but before he's able to roll over and get the count, the buzzer runs out. Dolph Ziggler not winning the beat the clock challenge. Again, we already went over most of this before, but anything anyone here wants to add to the Mark Henry Dolph Ziggler match?
That's Dolph Ziggler's career in a nutshell. So close, but so far.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good, accurate description.
I like the parts that didn't suck, so I didn't like any of it.
Optimistic.
We have Renee Young in the ring inviting out Adam Rose, who comes out and they have a fun little segment here. I like how Adam Rose is calling out all the members of his party. He was like, "Where's my cheeseburger? Where's my rabbit?" It's fun. He's putting over all the other people in his party. So everyone gets a little bit of love. Zeb Coulter ends up coming out, interrupting, being a lemon. I think Zeb Coulter eventually challenged Adam Rose to a match at one point during this. I don't even remember how this ended. I think Jack Swagger went for a cheap shot at Adam Rose, and it just ended in a schmaz. But a little bit more going on for Adam Rose. He was absolutely delightful in this segment. Hilarious. Lots of good one-liners. Lots of great involvement from his party. Who knew the rabbit would end up being such a baller dancer?
That rabbit's going to get over huge.
That rabbit is already over huge.
That rabbit's going to start partnering up with Fandango.
Yeah, how about they stole the Fandango dance for the Adam Rose chant now?
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, we didn't even bring up the fact that the UK people were actually fandangoing to his music, which you don't see very often anymore.
What?
No.
Oh man, gosh, they did it the last times. I'm surprised they did it again. Shocker.
Get your guys' thoughts on this segment, though. Tony, why don't you start us off?
This is kind of like the battle of whose music do you like better? When Adam Rose came out, everybody was really super into that, singing that song. When you hear Jack Swagger's theme, everybody starts completely switching. So at least the crowd was having fun singing. That was one good thing. This did a lot better for Adam Rose than the past 2 weeks have been. So that's good. I think if they would have made this, maybe if this would have been his first introduction to it, with that kind of a reaction, then the weeks following it would have been better. But hopefully the reaction that he got tonight will carry on for the future and maybe even improve, because they can't sustain itself and the character and everything on what the past couple of weeks have been, because that had gone flat. But this is a really standard debut feud, so it's not going to have that much into it. So you can't really expect it to be too much more than just, I'm going to go for a cheap shot, and the babyface is going to kind of cheap shot me back and then stand tall. Then now we're going to dance again. Like, you know. But hey, they should be a pretty decent pre-show match for Payback or something like that. And any advancement is an advancement.
Drew?
He reminds me of Russell Brand in that movie Arthur, I think it was. Don't know why. I just can't take Adam Rose seriously. I'm not supposed to, but yeah, I like the character. That's what I like about him. He's just that cool, laid back type of guy, and I like the segment. Feel bad for that cheeseburger though. He has to have surgery this week, but
What?
Don't you remember? Yeah, he's going to the doctor.
Yeah, he got shot with Big Show's gun.
Yeah.
That's right. He had to find a nurse, but he doesn't have one. So like the Star Trek girl is gonna play nurse or something. Good luck with that procedure.
Oh, the nerd in me is sitting there going, "It was Captain America."
Yeah, it was Captain America. I was about to say the same thing.
My heart
Whatever
broke
the heck
for a
it
second there.
was. Whatever the heck it
God,
was.
you act like you run a website for that type of shit.
Miguel, what'd you think about this segment?
I liked it. I'm into the whole Adam Rose gimmick. I don't know how much it has in terms of longevity or any sort of legs after that, but you know what? Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger are good for some out of the ring shenanigans, and when you've got a character like Adam Rose, I think this is probably going to be the best thing for him because he's going to stand out over Jack Swagger, and at the same time, he'll have a great interaction with Zeb Coulter, who I think is really going to play along with the character nicely. So I'm looking forward to this. Like, to me, I see this the same way I look at Torito versus 3MB. You know, it's not something to be taken seriously, but it's going to be fun on TV, and it's going to make for some interesting matches here and there. So I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is.
All right. Wago, close us out.
I'm pretty much in agreement with Miguel. I have no other idea how I would have debuted Adam Rose, so I'm perfectly okay with the thing he's doing with Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter, and it's a good way to get him over initially, since he's going to be doing a bit of comedy. As far as longevity goes, I think it's got legs. I just think they need to fight. As long as they've got heels that don't take themselves too seriously, and there's a whole bunch of them, they'll be fine. So once he's done with Swagger, he can move on to a Damien Sandow.
That's exactly who I was thinking who'd be perfect against, was a Damien Sandow.
In fact, I think Damien Sandow's
perfect.
a better fit for a feud with him than Jack Swagger, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because freaking Zeb Coulter is doing this whole thing about deporting people now, and how does Adam Rose play into that? It doesn't really fit.
I don't know what the hell he's meant to be.
He's British. That's all that counts.
South African British person? Okay.
It's all the same in the mind of Vince McMahon.
Okay. Well, let's move into our main event of the evening. It was John Cena against Wyatt family member Luke Harper. Luke Harper busting his ass in this match once again, proving that he is indeed the worker and the guy who is going to stand out as the biggest future star of the Wyatt family. Once again, though, getting another fucked finish in this match, Eric Rowan charging into the ring for the disqualification. Bray Wyatt ends up beating up Cena throughout the end afterwards, eventually bringing him up onto the stage area, hitting his sister Abigail on the steel ramp, taking a microphone, singing the "he's got the whole world in his hands" crap while Luke Harper counts to 10. Obviously symbolic because of their upcoming last man standing match, even though a simpleton like Drew couldn't understand that.
He never made it to 10, though.
He did. As a matter of fact, he made it to 9, and then he stopped for like 20 seconds and then said 10.
He kind of discounted there, didn't he?
He let Bray finish his song because he's nice like that.
And then when he said 10, he was like, 10.
Yeah, I remember that now. Okay, that did happen. That was a thing.
All right, we'll get you guys' thoughts about it, the whole match and all that. Drew, why don't you start us off since you have so many opinions?
I already said what I needed to say. I thought the match was okay. I just don't like Bray Wyatt anymore. I just don't like the gimmick. I don't like the thing. The way they never win clean. I mean, I could just complain about a lot of things, but it's stupid. It's the same fucking thing every single week. It's like John Cena, except the heel version. So I don't understand why people hate this as much as they hate John Cena.
Miguel, how did our main event leave you feeling tonight?
We've seen this matchup so many times before. As a matchup, it was all right, only because Luke Harper is just a much better worker than Eric Rowan. But like I said, it just felt like more of the same. You know, we've seen Luke Harper versus John Cena multiple times. It's a good matchup, but it's, you know, part 6 or 7 now of their whole, like, you know, number of matches, their saga, if you will. So I really didn't get much out of this other than it is what it is. The ending, it fit in with the theme of it, and really that's just the best I can say. Like, I think when you come off of that really great segment with the kids and the masks, it's really hard to kind of go back to one from there.
Wago?
Back earlier tonight, I said there was a lot that happened on the show, but I couldn't remember it, and I totally forgot this match happened, and thinking back to it, it was actually a pretty goddamn good match. 2 things. Harper can Rana, Cena can't Rana. Found that out pretty clearly. And two have got good chemistry, and I'm gonna change my opinion and say this is probably the match of the night for me. And then we had that fucking same old ending that we've had where Bray Wyatt sings, and I get bored and think, God, I want to watch Arrow. So, yeah, I wasn't too high on the actual segment and the fuck finish, but match was not bad.
Oh no, I'm missing Chris Lee Knows Best.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Hopefully we're getting better ratings in that show because that show's stupid. Tony, finish us out here on the main event matchup.
Quick little question to Wago. If you're really tired of the repetitive stuff and you're watching Arrow, you must get really tired of "My name is Oliver Queen" at the very begining of that.
I'm like, God, I know. You don't have to keep reminding me. I've got Netflix.
Show. You're Arrow, I get it. I have this tendency with Monday Night Raw where if the main event is not something that really, really interests me from the very beginning, I tend to tune out, and I did the same again this week. I didn't watch most of this match. I did see Luke Harper tumble over the top ropes really slowly, doing that spot where he goes for a kick and it's like Cena moves away and he just keeps going for like half the ring. I've always thought that was ridiculous. I don't know why they do that. I was trying to listen into the crowd and I heard them doing the John Cena sucks, which was kind of good.
Yes.
I'd love to see that come back again. And I think Michael Cole tried to put it on. It's like, raucous crowd or something. Just like, typical commentary booth, not going to actually mention what they're saying. It's negative. But I really didn't pay too much attention to the match itself, so I don't know if it was good or bad. And the end segment, I'm not as down on the Bray Wyatt character like we were saying earlier, but that is something that we've seen a multitude of times where somebody's counted at 10. So I've seen it before. I'll see it again, I'm sure, a bunch of different times. And that's not going to make any kind of impression on me, especially when they did have it a little bit awkward with Luke Harper having to stop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Crap. 9 and 9.5.
Ah, God damn it. Next time we're just going to have Eric Rowan count.
Right.
Yeah, 10.
So, not a strong way to end off Monday Night Raw.
Well, with that, we are going to end off our recap of Monday Night Raw. We got one last bit about it to talk about, though, and that's when we give you our good, our bad, and our ugly. Yes, it is time for the good, the bad, and the ugly, where we tell you what we thought was the best part of the show, the worst part of the show, and the most embarrassing part of the show. Starting us off, Mr. Drew White, what was your good, bad, and ugly for tonight?
My good, Adam Rose. My bad, Rusev. My ugly, Bray Wyatt.
Wow, pretty nice and simple there.
Yeah, don't need to explain.
All right, Miguel?
My good is the Cesaro Sheamus matchup. The bad, I'm going to say probably the main event. I'm going to go with the Shield Evolution stuff just because I fell out of that more than I did the main event. And the ugly, I'm going to say that awful non-match between R-Truth and Fandango, which still irritates me.
Yes, indeed. All right, Wago, your good, bad, ugly. Wago?
Good list.
Oh, it helps if I unmute my microphone, right?
Summoner.
All right, so for the... shut the fuck up, Drew. So for the good, I'm going to go with the Shield versus Evolution whole segment / match. I thought it was a lot of fun if overbooked. As far as the bad goes, it's going to be the fucking repetitiveness of Bray Wyatt. And for the ugly, I didn't see much of it. I skipped as soon as I realized how bad it was going to be, and that was the whole bullshit with Fandango tonight. So, yeah.
All right, Tony, you're good, bad, and ugly.
I would go with Bray Wyatt's promo for the good, but I'm going to actually throw something else out there that I thought was interesting that we didn't talk about, and that was the little nod to Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yes!
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that what that was? I thought that was so stupid. I actually changed the channel at that point.
Oh, actually, I loved that part in Wolf of Wall Street. That was actually one of my favorite parts. So when they did that, I was just like, oh, that's cool. I get to do that again.
I totally forgot about that, but me and Jonna was just going, what the fuck are they doing? They're so fucking stupid.
That was like one of the main reasons I wanted to see Wolf of Wall Street. I thought it was so odd that it was just so interesting at the same time. The bad, I got to go with same as Miguel. That R-Truth, whatever you can call it, of a segment, that was just garbage. And my ugly, this is going to be a little bit of a downer, but the sesame seed bun burger joke thing, that would be pretty embarrassing to try to justify to somebody if I was just showing them wrestling and just be like, no, I swear that not all characters come out with hamburgers dressed up that dance with rabbits and yeah.
I would be like, no, they all do. They're all awesome like that. Before I read mine, I want to take Awesome Piano Man's out of the chat room. He said, good, the Raw post-show chat room. So giving a shout out to all you awesome people making it super fun tonight. The bad, continuing education. I'm guessing that's because he's busy doing that type of stuff. But good luck, man. I know a lot of people are getting their graduation season, so I'm sure you're getting to the off season. Good luck to you, Awesome Piano Man. And the ugly, Drew White complaining.
My disciples of Wagoism, please continue to hate the Drew.
Joseph Stallman offering his now. Good, Wyatt's opening promo gave him goosebumps. Bad, Adam Rose. And the ugly, Drew speaking on the show at all. Man, I don't know why everyone hates Drew so much tonight. I'm not playing any part in this. This is all you guys.
Stallman also didn't like the Wolf of Wall Street thing.
Must be.
This is because Drew turned heel in a Smart Cat moment, don't you remember?
Oh, right. Before I forget, my good, bad, and ugly. My good tonight was the Sheamus and Cesaro match. I thought that was fantastic. Good length to it. Cesaro getting the surprise victory and the little post-match non-handshake I thought was really slick.
Ooh.
Oh, go ahead. The bad, I'm going to say Rob Van Dam winning the #1 contendership. Not happy about that. And the ugly, which you're probably shocked to hear her name mentioned in the same sentence as ugly, but I'm going to say that whole ordeal with Summer Rae coming out and getting all catty with Layla, not fun at all. So with that, folks, that wraps up all the coverage we're doing. We got one last bit of business we like to take care of here on the show before we close things out, and that is to let all the hosts let you know what's good in their world and what you should probably spend your time checking out while you're not listening to this show. So let's let them do it. First off, Mr. Drew White.
Nah, I'm gonna be nice, Stallman. I'm not gonna talk.
Oh, Stallman, you hurt his feelings. Stallman, apologize.
No, I don't want your damn
Stallman,
apology.
apologize.
No, I just got nothing to plug, so it's kind of like, nah, it's all good.
You got stuff to plug.
It's all good, Stallman. We'll go. I'll give you a bounce house that you always wanted for your birthday for free.
All right.
So we have a show called Sports Talk Weekly. And,
yes, it's on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. I'm not going to be there, unfortunately, probably this week because I have a lot of graduation stuff I need to attend to. But you can still listen because Chris Jester is a lot cooler than Steven Wago, which probably means no one's going to tune in now because I just said that, so sorry, Wago.
Well, Jester is the host.
Nah, not right now.
All right, let's move on. Miguel.
Check out my show, the Untitled Movie Show, tomorrow night, actually, 8 o'clock on Blog Talk Radio. Last week I wasn't there. I was on vacation hanging out with my folks, so the usual suspects over there took over, and they talked about film versus TV, how TV has kind of taken over film in terms of viewership, in terms of the content, in terms of just overall creativity, how TV's really grown out of its humble beginnings. This week, however, we're going to be discussing director's cuts. We're going to be talking about all the different director's cuts, how the movies that have changed due to their director's cuts and things like that, the whole nature of it. So definitely check out tomorrow night's show, 8 o'clock, the Untitled Movie Show on blogtalkradio.com.
Wago, you go ahead.
All right. So it comes to my awareness that some of you guys like tits and violence. Well, I also like tits and violence as well as anime, so you should check out Mega Powers Radio Sunday 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a review on Tenjo Tenge, which is an anime about tits, violence, and a fun plotline that goes with it. So check that out. It's a fun show, and we'll also have a fun few other segments based around anime. In addition to that, check out udmma.com for all your mixed martial arts needs. We're going to be covering UFC 173. You're going to be main evented by Henan Barrow and TJ Dillashaw, as well as a awesome undercard, so check that out. You can support us on facebook.com/UDMMA, twitter.com/UDMMA, and for all your UDMMA needs, go to UDMMA.com.
Anything about Bellator 120 in there?
I don't want to report about Tito laying on someone that's 20 pounds lighter than him.
Fair enough.
And Mr. Tony Mango.
All right, guys, you can find me on Bleacher Report. This week, I'm going to be writing an article about how Rusev sucks. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter and everything /Tony Mango or /A Mango Tree. My podcast for the wrestling side of things is Smack Talk, which is on youtube.com/SmarkOutMoment, as well as iTunes and Stitcher. Not sure what we're going to do for a special feature this week, but we will be answering any mailbag questions that you guys send in. So go to the contact page of SmarkOutMoment.com for all your wrestling needs and for sending in all those mailbag questions you want to send in. And if you're ever interested in joining the website for a writing position or maybe even an editing position or something else like that, then you can use that same contact form and get to send in your application that way.
All right, folks, we hope you have had a blast joining us tonight. And if you did, please join us every single week following the conclusion of Raw here on Mega Powers Radio. Just search for megapowersradio.com. We are live, as I said, and we are the most interactive post-Raw experience out there. We have our phone line and the Skype line open to you every week to call in, give your opinions about the show, and of course the chat room is always on fire with all the people in there. Thanks to all the people who were in there tonight. Awesome Piano Man making one of his rare appearances, Creepers on the Radar, Brian the Braid, Joseph Stallman, Jay Albright, the Dark Main Event, and there's probably a couple other people I didn't get the names in. Apologize to you guys. Thank you all for showing up. You guys made it even more fun. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And of course, if you cannot join us live though, you can find the show archived. Go to smarkoutmoment.com or search for Raw Post Show on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or YouTube. We're easy to find. It is there. And yes, right now I also have another show going on right now. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, we've had that mentioned a few times throughout this show. Search for the Sand and Snow podcast, a Game of Thrones podcast. It is on fanboysanonymous.com as well as iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and YouTube. Search for Sand and Snow. Hear me talk about Game of Thrones and floppy wieners and dragons and all the other wonderful things that are on that show. Thank you, everyone, as I said, for tuning in. Please support everything that's on megapowersradio.com every single night of the week. Lots of awesome content going down. But until next time, I'm Mike Paden for Tony Mango, for Miguel Leon, for Drew White, and for Steven Wago. We'll see you next time on the Raw Post Show.